Two fates, one heart. The first time Maya saw Daniel, he was arguing with a street vendor over the price of marigolds. She ducked into the Delhi flower market to escape the monsoon rain, and there he was. This tall American with terrible Hindi and an earnest expression, insisting on paying more than the asking price because the flowers are worth it. The elderly vendor looked bewildered. Maya couldn't help but laugh. "He's trying to give you extra money," she called out in Hindi to the vendor, then switched to English. "You're supposed to bargain down, not up." Daniel turned, rain-soaked and sheepish, clutching his bouquet. "I know, but these are for a temple offering, and it felt wrong to haggle." That should have been their only encounter, a brief moment of humor between strangers. But Daniel's hotel was near her apartment, and Delhi has a way of making the world feel smaller. They kept running into each other. At the bookshop in Khan Market, at the India Gate at sunset, at the small cafe where she graded her students' papers every Thursday evening. The fourth time felt less like coincidence and more like fate. "Are you following me?" Maya teased, looking up from a stack of essays to find him standing at her table, 2 cups of chai in hand. "I was going to ask you the same thing," Daniel said, but he was smiling. "May I?" That conversation lasted 3 hours. She learned he was an architect from Boston, in India, studying sustainable building techniques for 6 months. He learned she taught comparative religion at Delhi University and wrote poetry in her spare time. They talked about everything. The chaos and beauty of the city, the weight of family expectations, the strange courage it takes to build a life that feels authentic. "My parents wanted me to be a doctor," Maya admitted. "Good Bengali girls become doctors or engineers. Studying religion felt like rebellion." "My parents are 3rd-generation Irish Catholic," Daniel said. "They weren't thrilled when I told them I wanted to spend half a year in a Hindu-majority country. My mother still sends me rosaries and prayer cards." They both laughed, recognizing the universal language of loving but worried parents. The friendship that bloomed between them was easy and unexpected. Daniel would text her photos of architectural details he found fascinating, the geometric patterns of Mughal monuments, the carved pillars of temples. Maya would send him verses from Kabir or Rumi, poets who wrote about the divine transcending all boundaries. It was during a visit to Nizamuddin Dargah, the Sufi shrine where Qawwali singers poured their devotion into music every Thursday night, that something shifted. They sat side by side on the marble floor, surrounded by people of all faiths who'd come seeking peace. The music swelled around them, ecstatic, yearning, infinite. Daniel reached for her hand. Maya's heart hammered. She didn't pull away. Instead, she laced her fingers through his, and in that moment, surrounded by songs about divine love, she felt herself falling into something wholly human and terrifying and wonderful. "I think I'm in trouble," Daniel whispered. "Me too," Maya whispered back. But falling in love and building a life are different things entirely. Maya's family was traditional. Her parents had an arranged marriage that had, by luck and effort, become a love match. They'd already begun showing her profiles of suitable Bengali boys, doctors, engineers, men who checked all the right boxes. The thought of telling them she was in love with an American Catholic made her stomach clench. Daniel's family was an ocean away, but their expectations traveled those miles effortlessly. His mother called every Sunday, always asking when he'd be home, whether he'd met anyone nice, subtly reminding him that Mrs. O'Connor's daughter was still single, and asking about him. "What do we do?" Maya asked one evening as they walked along the Yamuna River, watching the sky turn purple and gold. "What do you want to do?" Daniel countered. "I want this," she said simply. "Us. But I don't know how to reconcile wanting you with wanting to honor my family, my community. I don't know how to bridge that gap." Daniel stopped walking and turned to face her. "I've been thinking about that. What if we don't have to choose? What if faith isn't about buildings and rituals, but about what we carry in our hearts?" "That's very poetic," Maya said. "But our families—" "Will love us anyway," Daniel interrupted. "Maybe not immediately, maybe not easily, but love is love, Maya. Isn't that what every faith teaches underneath everything else?" She wanted to believe him, but belief and reality often stood at odds. The conversation with her parents was as difficult as she'd feared. Her mother cried. Her father grew silent, which was somehow worse. They spoke of duty, of tradition, of what the community would say. They reminded her that love was important. Yes, but so was shared culture, shared values, shared understanding. We share all of that, Maya insisted. We just came to it through different doors. But will you raise your children Hindu or Christian? Her mother asked, and Maya had no answer. Daniel's family was more accepting but equally worried. His mother wanted to know if Maya would expect him to convert. His father wondered about the logistics. Where would they live? Would Daniel give up his career to stay in India? These were fair questions without easy answers. It was Maya's grandmother, surprisingly, who offered a path forward. At 92, she'd lived through partition, independence, and decades of social change. When Maya visited her, despairing and uncertain, the old woman listened quietly, then spoke. "You know what I remember most about partition?" she asked. "Not the violence, though that was terrible, but the moments when a Muslim family hid us, or when your grandfather helped a Christian family escape. Faith divided us, but humanity united us. Love united us." She reached for Maya's hand. "Your young man, does he see you? Does he honor who you are?" "Yes," Maya whispered. "Then the rest is just details," her grandmother said firmly. "God doesn't care about the name we use, only about the love in our hearts." They decided to build their own bridge. Maya and Daniel married twice, once in a small church ceremony in Boston with his family present, where a kind priest spoke about love transcending all boundaries, and once in a Hindu ceremony in Delhi, where a pundit blessed their union before the sacred fire. Both ceremonies felt right. Both felt true. They made agreements. Their home would honor both traditions. They'd celebrate Christmas and Diwali, Easter and Holi. When they had children, they'd teach them about both heritages, let them find their own path. It wasn't always easy. There were moments when cultural misunderstandings caused friction, when family members made thoughtless comments, when the weight of being a bridge between worlds felt too heavy. But there were more moments of grace. Daniel learning to drape Maya's sari before weddings. Maya sitting beside his mother in church on Christmas Eve, both of them crying during Silent Night. Their parents eventually, grudgingly, then warmly becoming friends. The day Maya's father told Daniel, "You're a good man. You make my daughter happy. That's what matters." 5 years later, Maya stood in their Boston apartment, watching snow fall outside while Daniel made chai in the kitchen using her grandmother's recipe. On the wall hung both a cross and a small brass Ganesh. On the bookshelf, the Bhagavad Gita nestled beside the Bible. Their daughter, named Kavya Grace, a blend of both their hopes, played on the floor, singing a Hindi nursery rhyme Maya had taught her. "Do you ever regret it?" Daniel asked, bringing her tea. "The hard parts?" Maya thought about the journey that had brought them here. The doubts, the difficult conversations, the moments she'd wondered if love was enough. Then she thought about this life they'd built, imperfect and beautiful, woven from two traditions into something entirely their own. "Never," she said, taking his hand. "Two faiths, one heart. We figured it out." Daniel kissed her temple. "We did." Outside, the snow continued to fall, covering the world in white. Inside, their home glowed warm with light and laughter, a small sanctuary built on the simple truth that love, in any language, in any faith, looks remarkably the same.